What is up, my nieces and nephews? Fun Uncle is back in the building, and I'm hitting the ground running while I'm throwing haymakers because I want to answer all the heavy-hitting questions that exist in the space today. And this is a question I get asked all the time. What's an NFT? What's going on? What's a fungible? I don't get it. And I decided the best use of my time would be to highlight two analogies that help me explain NFTs to anyone. Because at the end of the day, most people don't want to know about the complex nature of blockchain technology and this new paradigm of community building and how they interweave mesh into each other. They don't want to know about that. They want you to meet them where they are, explain it in terms they understand using objects that exist in their own world. And that's why I think these two analogies will be extraordinarily valuable, and they might even help you explain NFTs to anyone. The first analogy I love to use is that NFTs are just like the American Express Black Card. Now, the American Express Black Card is something so prestigious and so coveted in our species that I'm confident I do not have to explain what it is. If you live in a capitalist country where Coca-Cola is sold, you already know what an American Express Black Card is. That is how prestigious and how coveted it is in our species. However, if aliens were to come down today and you handed them an American Express Black Card, they would probably throw it in the garbage. It is a cheap piece of titanium that has no objective value whatsoever. If the nukes start dropping and the power goes out, an American Express Black Card is about as valuable as an NFT. Now, NFTs, from a 10,000-foot view, are subjective pieces of art, and the value is to the beholder or the individual purchaser. That's a very complicated way of saying they're useless pieces of garbage. A lot of people think they're scams, and most people think they're redundant. However, they are missing all of the access that comes along with it. Bored Ape Yacht Club, the tip of the spear on many of these conversations, if you look at the art, objectively, it was done by the lowest bidder. It is art that I don't think anyone would want to hang on their walls if they didn't know all the context and access and prestige that comes along with them. I think these are pieces of art that would sit on the street and never be sold. However, you get to rub elbows with some really exclusive people when you buy one of these Bored Apes. Same thing can be said about the American Express Black Card. You get access to all of these clubs, membership perks. You basically have a direct line to American Express where they just solve your problems, I guess. And Bored Apes are kind of the same way. You get access to this club, direct line communications with celebrities, and it cuts out a lot of the middlemen. Before, if you were a celebrity or a business owner or a savvy entrepreneur trying to communicate with someone who's a billionaire or a celebrity, you would have to talk to the agent would have to talk to that agent talks to the manager, then they schedule a time. However, cut all that red tape, buy yourself a Bored Ape, and then you were in the chat room being like, hello, Tom Brady, you here? It's so-and-so marketing from Red Bull. We'd love to do a commercial with you. Then the conversation's already going. And that's just one small example. Another one is like, imagine you were able to scrape together your life savings, buy a Bored Ape. You have now springboarded actually up the socioeconomic ladder to be rubbing elbows with people who probably bought a Bored Ape with loose change they found in their couch cushions. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about a massive leap forward for someone who's starting from the bottom. And there are a lot of reasons why people would pay these crazy fees to join these clubs. But at the end of the day, people are willing to pay these crazy fees to join these clubs. The value add that comes along with membership is well worth the fee you pay. And the other thing that NFTs have over the American Express Black Card is that they are assets that increase in value the longer you hold them and the more people start interacting with them. Freaking the American Express Black Card charges you interest. You have to pay money to continue being in that club. However, once you pay that one-time fee to get into the NFT club, you've paid it, you're appreciating in value, and now you're in there rubbing elbows. Just being a fly on the wall alone is probably worth tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. I can only imagine the kind of conversations that take place in these rooms. And so that's why I think this first analogy is pretty perfect. I would highly recommend you going out today and trying it out with your friends. Just a simple way to just tell them NFTs are just like the American Express Black Card. Now, a second, more complex analogy you can try to use with people is that NFTs are like a gateway to Web3. In the same way that teachers use cartoons and puppets to convey really complex ideas about morals and ethics to children, NFTs are fun, entertaining packaging to which education is served to the masses. In order to interact with NFTs, you got to learn a bunch of really complex steps about setting up a MetaMask, what cryptocurrencies and decentralized technologies are, and that's happening passively in the background. We're being educated on the technology, while in the front of our minds, we're so engaged with the collectibles and how we're making money as the asset grows in value. But really what's going on there from a 10,000 foot view is we are being educated about this new paradigm called Web3. My evidence of this fact, we got to rewind all the way back to the advent of Web 2. There was this fun game called Neopets. It was a Pokemon knockoff where you collect resources and upgrade the things and blah, 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 blah. But really what was going on is my generation was being indoctrinated into Web 2. We were learning how to set up an email, how to use the URL browser, what www meant, our usernames, our passwords, how to get comfortable with a computer. In the background, we were being educated on how to interact with Web 2. Fast forward now, the same thing is taking place. We need some kind of fun, cute, collectible toys that are educational tools to get the population to cross the bridge into this new paradigm. It is at this point I have to pause and remind the audience that we're really not sure what the future is going to look like. It's very nebulous. We don't even really know what it's going to be called. The name metaverse was being thrown around for a while, but it seems like the population is rejecting it because it was manufactured by capitalism. We as a species would rather root for some kind of small town hero that built the technology in their parents' garage, like Apple, like Google. We don't want some big company like Facebook inventing Libra and Meta and getting us to use it willingly. No, we strike down your capitalist greed, Zuckerberg. We want some small town hero to invent it, and that's the hope right now. Sure, you could think that maybe some government or large institution could come along and invent something and force it down our throat. However, the population tends to rebel against tyranny. I think it really boils down to three things. It boils down to the technology and that technology's ability to evolve when things change, the leadership, how transparent they are and how much they communicate and interact with the community and do what the community needs, and then the community aspect to it. How gung-ho is the population? Are people flocking to it? Are they in love with, the memes, or are they in love with the technology and they in love with the leadership? And the piece of technology that I think has the best opportunity to claim all three of those spots is Ethereum. It has all three of those almost securely locked in. Let's see what happens with Ethereum 2.0 whenever that software finally launches. But for all intents and purposes, if we're trying to make a bet on who we think the winner will be, Ethereum is the clear winner. Sure, there might be another smaller coin that's still percolating right now that could give Ethereum a run for its money in like 5 years. But as of right now, it all looks like Ethereum is going to be one of the clear blue winners, if not one of many winners in this future Web3 space to which we build Web3 on top of. I say Ethereum because, for those of you who don't know, most NFTs are built on top of Ethereum, right? They are using the blockchain protocol in order to exist. And I think that's a little bit about what's going on here from a 10,000 foot view, is they need to educate the population on blockchain, decentralized technology, how to set up a wallet. The best way to do that is not by holding long lecture hall meetings with PowerPoint slides. It's about making fun games that people want to interact with, and in order to interact with them, they must jump through a couple small and then increasingly larger, hurdles, educational wise, in order to get there. But that's just necessary steps in the growth of our species and also the technology as well. And so that's why I think it's a little bit more complex, but it's a great, simple analogy to explain to people. If they're curious about NFTs, you can just say to them, it is a gateway to Web3. And now it's time to dive into some NFT news. And we got some bangers for you guys this week as Coinbase totally blows its NFT launch. Collectible NFTs are going to revamp the ticketing industry. Global NFT trading volume grows over 200% in 2022. And NFTs will 100% pass the market of Bitcoin in the future. But before I get into the big stories, I got to talk about how Sony is launching an NFT project, Johnson & Johnson is launching something, Nestle's working on something, Louis Vuitton is working on something, and what this tells me is that we're still really early on in the space. The only reason these companies would be working on NFT projects right now is because they think we're still early. What they want to do is get in, repackage it, sell it for a profit to the population, and the only way to pull that off is by getting into the space early. And so these large companies can tell that there's untapped market out there. There is a large portion of the population who have not been sold NFTs yet, and they are convinced that there are a lot of willing parties out there that just need that repackaging to take place. And so this is huge news because they think it's early, so I think it's early, and I would encourage everyone out there, not financial advice, to try to get some skin in the game. How would you do that? Well, you need to get a little piece of each one of these ecosystems. For example, you don't know which company or blockchain that Louis Vuitton or Nestle or Johnson & Johnson are going to end up using. They could be all over the place, like Johnson & Johnson's with Polygon, and then Sony goes with Solana, and then Nestle's with with Ethereum or whatever. You don't know where they're going to go, so you want to get a little bit in each one of these ecosystems because they're not going to be in all of them. They're going to spread out a little bit. You're going to have some winners and some losers, so don't put all your eggs in one basket. But really the narrative that you want to extrapolate from these three stories is that big brands still see massive market potential in the space and they're trying to get in. And so you should also have the same level of enthusiasm that Louis Vuitton does. There is so much more money to be made in the space. And so I thought that was 4 really exciting stories I had to share, kind of package them all together into one idea that big brands are still getting into the space and they see a lot of market potential still left to be had. Did Coinbase blow its NFT launch? Well, short answer, yes. Long answer, no. Let's go with the short answer first. Did they blow it? Yeah, they did. People were kind of upset. They were late to launch, and then when they finally did launch, they fumbled the ball, and they've been irritating people every step of the way. And this is just another article, kind of evidence to the fact that people are kind of irritated with Coinbase's NFT launch. There are a lot of other smaller companies that did it right. Why are they screwing it up so much? So short answer, yes, they did kind of blow the launch. However, long answer, no. This is a company that's too big to fail. They make several $1 billion per quarter just off their Coinbase, just off their cryptocurrency sales alone. So they can float the boat for a little while as they right the ship. Heck, an easy solution for them is they just buy up one of these smaller marketplaces that's done it right, and then bam, you have a marketplace that's doing it right. So there are a bunch of options out there, and I bet you anything they've got some of the best minds in the world thinking up something really cool because they make billions of dollars per quarter and they're too big to fail. So that's why I think long answer, no, they did not blow this one. I think they're just fumbling and going to recover and then take it into the end zone. It's just not going out as planned like the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl a couple years back. I really don't want to talk about that 1-yard pass. Moving on to the next story, guys. Beyond collectibles, how NFTs are revamping the ticket industry. I've been following this for a while, back when Dallas Mavericks were changing out their tickets for NFTs. A bunch of NFL games gave commemorative NFTs along with the tickets. And I think this is just a natural progression. It used to be we had the straight up and down lined barcodes on our tickets, and now we've moved to an even more complex QR code. And I think the next iteration will be a full-on NFT per ticket. And it's kind of a collector's dream. Most ticket collectors want to show evidence that they existed, that they took part in these cultural moments, and they want to just share it with their grandkids. And tickets seem to expire, especially even when you put them in a book or something like that, a photo album to save them. They end up fading over time. And so this is kind of a collector's dream that they have, in perpetuity, frozen in time, evidence that they existed and they went to these events and were able to participate in these massive cultural moments. So I think this is great. This is going to revamp how ticketing industry runs in the future. Report over 100% increase in the number of Ethereum-based NFT collections in 2022. And that's not all. Global NFT trading volume grows over 200% in 2022, surpassing $50 billion. Guys, 2022 isn't even half over yet. We're not even halfway through the year, and we're pushing numbers like this, 200% increase across all networks, and then Ethereum alone is up 100% in 2022. Guys, we're not even halfway through the year yet. These are two crazy stories that just tell me that like the sky's the limit. That's kind of been the narrative through all of these, that like big brands are still getting in. The growth is still taking place at an exponential rate. There is a lot of audience members out there, or target market participants, that aren't even engaged yet in the NFT space and could potentially soon be buying in. And I think this is all just like really promising stuff, especially when the markets are down right now. You got to look at these stories and be like, wow, there's way too much good news right now for these markets to stay down much longer. And it's just exciting. Yeah, global trade up to 200%, $50 billion. 2022 is not even half over. These are massive stories. Take this to the water cooler, will you, on Monday, all right? Try it out. And our last story here folds in perfectly is NFTs 100% will pass the market cap of Bitcoin in the future. What Gate.io is saying here is that if anyone has a chance, it's a conglomerate of projects, not just one project. Like, sure, Ethereum could do it one day, but that's just one project. NFTs as a whole are dozens of marketplaces and hundreds of different companies and artists and community members who are building this. And so the hope is that this aggregate community of hundreds of different NFT projects could potentially beat the market cap of Bitcoin. And really, you got to say, if they can't do it, no one else can. If an aggregate community of hundreds of different companies, full-on billion-dollar companies, can't come together and pass the market cap of Bitcoin, then nothing ever will. And so I kind of got to agree with him that, yeah, 100% one day, don't know when, but one day, yes, Ethereum will pass Bitcoin, and NFTs as a whole will also pass Bitcoin. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's the LADZ City Lounge, where we are literally just chilling. I mean, we are kicking it. I am shooting from the hip, no script here, right off the top of my head. We are just talking about all things LADZ City. The big news that's hot off the press is we are changing the name of LADZ City. I don't know what other steps need to take place, but that is the writing on the wall. We are going to be changing the name fully to NFT Live, or NFT Live Network. And I love that. That's going to be a huge change. So it's going to be Art Start Now on NFT Live. Fununcle on NFT Live, Music Mondays on NFT Live. And this rebrand is going to be huge. We've got a new website we're working on. I'm putting together a sizzle reel, kind of an all-up overview of all the shows on the NFT Live network, and that'll be on the website. We're working on that in the background. And then also I can fill you guys in on what's going on with me. Personally, I just got back from the Bitcoin Miami conference, and that took years off my life. I mean, I'm pretty sure I caught COVID. I didn't get tested for it because I was so horrifically sunburnt coming back from Miami that there was no me going to get COVID tested. I needed to aloe vera my body. And what made that even worse is I landed on a Tuesday. I had Wednesday to do my laundry and aloe my body. And then Thursday, I was going back into the office. So I'm commuting into work, pulling jeans over my sunburned legs and cinching a belt tight on my sunburned torso. And it was so miserable. I couldn't sleep a full night because anytime I rolled, I would just roll on a sunburn and just wake up. And so I decided that I deserved a break. I needed to just take a break, get back to zero, get a full night's sleep, recover from the sunburn. And I'm so glad I did, because it let me meditate on all the projects I'm working on, get a lot of my ducks in a row. And I'm going to be making some changes, I want to start streamlining this content. As you've seen in this episode, I want to make incremental changes, make it look a little bit better, right? And then also try to find a way to do these quicker so I can start doing more content in the same amount of time. And when I was just looking at things at a 10,000 foot view, one of the things I realized that I need to cut is the Lad of the Week award. I was looking at that and I realized it was a real time suck, but really I've given it to everybody. At this point, everyone's gotten it that deserves it. At this point, I'm just circling back around the list and giving it to people for the second time. And it took a lot of time to do that, to pick the winner. to put together the award, to hand out the award, to deliver the prize to them. And then there's that too. Like, I've been just burning through my LADZ tokens, and it's going to get to a point where I lose my noble status. And so I want to hold on to my noble status, and it's going to give me an opportunity to be more creative with my community engagement. You know, less of this just giving out money every single week, and finding more ways to actually engage with my audience that isn't just, you know, throwing money away, for lack of a better phrase. But I think it was a good idea while it lasted, you know, but now I've got more important things I could be doing with that same time. And I guess I'm just sorry I got to do away with it. I wish I could do it forever. You know, nothing lasts forever, I guess. I think maybe it's time to put together an award with more gravitas, like a Lad of the Year, right? Like that's the award people really want to get. It's the Lad of the Year. I'm looking at you, Hash Rhymes, for Lad of the Year. Wink, wink, best freaking mod ever. And Llama, you're also an incredible mod too. You both deserve the award. I guess love all around is really what I want to convey to you guys. And I'm going to do that by the means of more frequent video content that's also better quality and more concise. I'm just going to cut to the chase, like not try to milk these things to make them longer to appease the Google algorithm. I'm going to try to maybe cater this content more to what the viewer wants. And so that's the long and the short of it, guys. There's a lot on there, and I'm sure there's a lot I missed too, you know, from the rebrand, the new website. I'm putting together a sizzle reel. I'm trying to get more Fununcle content out there. I'm also working on Hard Fork Gaming. My new book, Fununcle 2, it's almost done. I'm hoping to get that out this year, maybe like another 100, 200 hours of work, and I'll be able to polish that bad boy out. But big things are in the works, you know. I'm back here cooking. I'm at the desk again producing content. I'm super stoked about that. And on that note, I would like to close out this video by giving you a sneak peek of my Bitcoin Miami recap video. I was posting content live to my TikTok, my Twitter, my Instagram all throughout the week while I was at the conference. And I decided what I need to do is put it all in one place. And this is a little sneak preview of that video I'm going to launch later this week. What is up, my nieces and nephews? Welcome back to another episode of Fununcle. And in today's episode, I am doing a full in-depth recap of my trip to Bitcoin Miami 2022. Well, that's the whole satchel of enchiladas, my nieces and nephews. Thank you again for watching this episode of Fununcle. If you could do me a favor, smash the like, the subscribe, tell me what you think of the content down in the comments below, and keep your ear to the ground for the massive things taking place at Hard Fork Gaming Guild in 2022. Last but not least, I gotta touch on my NFT project. I don't know if you remember, I have 200 unique tropical themed NFTs available on the OpenSea marketplace right now. Well, I have launched my 5th and final riddle. It is now live. For those of you who don't know, all you have to do is buy one of my NFTs, go into the unlockable content. You will find a path to one of my riddles. First one to solve it and email me the answer, and bam, I will send you $100 in Ethereum. And I've got 2 of these NFT riddles live right now. So if you think you have what it takes to crack one of my riddles, head on over to OpenSea today. First one to email me the answer. It's a no-brainer. I've got 2 of them live right now. $200 are on the table. If you think you got what it takes, head on over to OpenSea today.